Summer Blake, 37. I have cryogenic cirrhosis of the liver. Found out in 35 years old. Had to go in because my bilirubin was really high in my liver. We ended up in the hospital, obviously, and was very sick. Very sick. I didn't realize how sick I was until I got there. So, and found out everything, I guess.
What is the disease called?
It's cryogenic.
Cryogenic?
Cirrhosis, yeah.
Okay. What is that?
They're not 100% exactly sure what caused everything, but liver disease runs rampant on my mother's side of the family, or my mother's father's side of the family, my grandfather's side of the family.
Okay.
I have a cousin dealing with this as well. So, her and I we become very, very close after I was diagnosed. So, but yeah, it's something that you can't necessarily pinpoint 100%, but yeah, I'm obviously the final stages of liver failure. So,
How have the past 2 years been for you?
Rough, very rough. I have to honestly say it's been horrible the last 2 years. First year, I don't remember a lot because I was so sick, and they were obviously trying to come up with something medicine-wise to help me, I guess, go on day to day and try to figure out what we were going to do, what the next step was going to be. I don't remember a whole lot. She would know more than I do when it comes to the first year.
She spent the last 2 years literally in bed.
Yeah.
If it wasn't in bed at the hospital, it's been in bed here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the first year, did a lot of testing, obviously, poked more times than I'd like to admit. I've become a pincushion. But I went through, obviously, I have a catheter now for dialysis. That was rough. They had to go through my neck for that, and then later on put it in my chest for comfort. But bouncing back and forth between Loma Linda in California, where they got the program running for me, the transplant program, going from there to a rehab facility afterwards, and then trying to come home, bouncing back from home to Spring Valley hospital, where obviously I went first, and they were like, hey, you need a transplant. So I mean, it's been bouncing between hospital and hospital, being poked, being taught everything possible, so I can obviously maintain at home. It's been just tough. I mean, that's really all I can say. It's been hard, especially the last year. Now that I know everything that's going on and I'm more coherent, everything's pretty much kind of stabilized right now, which is obviously where they want me to be. It's a little more mentally grueling now because I know exactly what's going on when I didn't before. So.
And Mom has been by
since day one.
Since day one, yeah. Can you introduce yourself as well?
Ruth Ann Scott, and obviously her mom. And it's like I said, I can't even begin to describe, in all honesty, what we've both gone through. But to watch that with your only child is, but try to stay strong. Keep that stone face, and every day I'm like, it's going to be okay. You'll be home tomorrow. It's fine. Everything's fine. And you go home, it's not so fine, The going to being it, I used to work at night. I'd work till 10 at night, be up so I could be at the hospital by 6, 7, get to the doctor, stay there till 2. This is months of this, It's like you don't sleep
First year especially.
Yeah, it was... like I said, she doesn't even remember most of that first year. Several times we've had that conversation. We had to, it gets to a point where I'm like, look, it's got to be your choice. Much as I may not like what that decision may be, but if you feel like you just can't do this, then that has to be on you. I've always believed people should be able to make that decision, and boy, did I have to eat those words a little bit when it come time for this, because we didn't know what was going to happen. And when you find out those things, it's like, oh, you want a solution right now. Well, it took a year just for them to go, okay, we're going to refer you for transplant. Now, we already know it's failed. Her kidneys are failing. We already know she's going. But that whole process took a year itself for the doctor to finally go, okay, called me up, said, Mom, we need you to come because we're shipping her off to Loma Linda. Then I panicked, for what? Oh, testing. Okay. Here we go again. And it's a roller coaster. It's just a giant
Definitely.
roller coaster.
They originally gave her 2 months to live, they told you? Tell me what happened there.
Her liver and kidneys were failing. The first hospital stay, she spent 24 days in critical care. And the kidney doctor came in then and said, they're not working. I have a treatment. I'll give it to you for 2 weeks. If it doesn't work then, I'll give her 2 months. Just as plain could be.
She was honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I adore her just for that reason. Mm-hmm. I mean, she just, and I still see her to this day. Obviously she's on my nephrologist team, but yeah, she gave it to me straight up. Mm-hmm. I called her and I'm like, I have some news for you. But that was tough. That was tough to swallow.
Yeah.
It didn't affect me as bad as I thought it would, but it was.
I think she was too sick, in all honesty, at the time.
It was, again, that first year, so.
It was kind of like things just didn't register as much, I guess.
For you, as a mom, to hear someone say that about your daughter, what was your reaction to that?
Angry. I think I was very, very angry for a long time. Yeah. I told everybody. Cursed God and everything else. You do. You just lose all hope, faith, and I became very angry. And you kind of just have to suck that up and, like I said, hold it in because, oh no, everything's rosy. It's perfect as far as I'm trying to keep in her eyes and keep her positive. And I've always told her whole life, words give things power. So be careful what words you use and what you say because it can give things power. And boy, I've had to eat a lot of words lately. But I think that was, it's like somebody punched you in the gut. And it's hard to know how to react, I guess. But yeah, for a while, I think anger was the first emotion. And then, of course, sorrow and all of that. And fear,
Yeah.
She's been my best friend since the day she was born. And honestly can't even picture life without her here. I can't envision that. I've tried because we've had to, and I can't. I've told her that 100 times that I don't know if I could keep going if she's not here. So every day is a blessing and a gift, and I cherish every moment, good or bad. I don't care if it's just sitting on her bed, watching her sleep. I cherish every moment. Because you just don't know what tomorrow will bring. She may be on the list. We don't know if that'll come in time. No one can tell me that. Not one doctor can promise me that. They can all say she'll be fine. They've all told me, oh, we'll do that, she'll be fine. You can't say that. Can't promise me that. You're talking about someone else dying so my child can live. And there's no guarantee, that you'll even get that call in time. So.
And kind of going off of what you're saying, there are, of course, so many people like you who are on a waiting list. From your perspective, I know, we've heard from Mom. how is that for you to just you kind of just have to be patient, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I have to be conscious of my well-being. You know, I have to be conscious of my health.
Yeah.
Try to maintain as best as I possibly can. Whatever's in my power, I'm gonna, go ahead. I'm gonna practice. But yeah, it's waiting. The waiting part. That's not knowing. That's the unfortunate part of this. And with there really not being a transplant program here in Nevada, that's a little. I mean, that's another hurdle that I'd have to, I had to climb over. I mean, that was one of the things that I was a little devastated over, because I didn't really understand, for one, what was going on, and two, they were like, well, we have this program in California, and I'm like, oh, okay, and they're like, the Loma Linda program in California, best transplant there can be, in your area. And I'm like, okay, and at first I of course I'd ask a million questions, and I was a little confused. They're throwing this in my face, they're trying to save my life, and they had people on planes coming out talk to me. And
yeah, first they didn't even have the institute here when we began this.
Yeah,
a doctor flew in twice a month to see liver patients here, because there really is nothing. So we saw him a few times, found out her insurance didn't cover him. He was very kind, saw her for free. And then that was another hurdle. Well, what do we do now? This guy can't treat you, And then they finally opened up the liver clinic here. And, obviously we were down there for a couple weeks, and I personally would be lost without these people.
Oh, yeah. These people honestly
are
saved my life.
amazing.
They've completely, Spring Valley Hospital and Loma Linda combined, I'm alive because of them. I wouldn't be here without them. So that definitely, and now that there's a program here that you can at least be seen and be monitored by the doctor here, that's another blessing as well. And that helps patients here, like myself in Nevada, that helps us, that we can just go to the clinic there, or here rather, in Nevada, than having to go through the hospital in California all the time. That's been quite helpful, and the clinic's been around for about 1.5 years now, so that's awesome.
Where's your mindset right now, looking towards the future?
Ooh, I kind of take my days one at a time. I try not to think too far in the future. Lately, I'm guilty by doing so. I've been, I have good and bad days, and sometimes I have good and bad weeks. And so when I have a really good week, I'm like, you think about the future, and I'm guilty of doing so, but I can't really say that I think too far ahead. But I have no idea of what's tomorrow's going to bring. I could be, completely better than tomorrow morning. It's so unpredictable. I don't know. I have no idea. So I bite my days off one at a time. That's it. I really can't do more than that. And they kind of told me to do the same. So I learned that myself. I'm just like, one day at a time.
I honestly don't. I don't think either one of us knows what life is besides this cycle.
No,
you get to a point where that just becomes life, and I don't make plans. We don't make plans past today. Really, it'd be like, okay, tomorrow we have to do this. Okay,
we'll see. It's always
I could get up in the morning, and that is definitely not happening. So. We just, we kind of quit. Almost like life has become some parallel plane where we're just stagnant. You just coast, kind of on autopilot. That's try not to think too much about tomorrow. I know I don't like to think about it. So, either way, it's like, oh, then she has to go through the horror of, the whole recovery. So for me as a mom, either perspective is a little not good. So, yeah, we just kind of coast through life, really.
And you were saying you don't work and
No.
it's hard to walk. Tell me just a little bit about the challenges that
I-
you go through.
I have about 20 to 30 minutes, and that's actually an improvement. That's an upgrade. 30 minutes on my feet, and I start to swell.
You can see
Yeah, my
feet have all
my
these...
feet have stretch marks all over them because they swell up to football size when I was in Spring Valley, and they didn't know why. I mean, they knew why, but obviously I had to go through heart testing to find out if that was another culprit. I had all my organs shutting down or not, but yeah, it's a good 20 to 30 minutes on my feet. Even sitting, I have to be kind of flat all day just to keep the fluid buildup from going into one direction or the other. And I've obviously learned in the last 2 years my little secrets to keeping even. But yeah, that's about it. I can't I can't do office work or anything like that yet. I still see myself working again one day, hopefully, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And my last question for you, we were kind of talking about this before, just, how many people are waiting, for something. Can you just tell me what you're in need of and just how important it is for people to maybe just go to the DMV and be an organ donor?
Oh man, I need a liver. Not sure if I need a kidney yet, but more than likely yes. Due to how close the liver and kidneys work together. I find it imperative if you're not using something that somebody else can then maybe
save their life.
Yeah. Go to the DMV and become a donor. You're not going to use it anymore. I've done it. I've been a donor since I was 16, and obviously nobody's going to want my liver. But if I unfortunately don't see my transplant, they can have whatever else. I'm still a donor. I will be a donor until the day I close my eyes and don't wake up. I think it's important. I understand there are some people due to religious views, things like that. But if you're not using it, you're never going to use it again. You're not around anymore. Well, let's save somebody else's life. Now I'm one of those people that are waiting.
I remember we first talked about this. She said to me one day, through all of this, I've probably shed way more tears than she has. Way more. And one of the few days she got very upset. She said, it really bothers me that someone has to die for me to live. And I said, well, wait a minute. They made that choice. They're wanting other people to live. And I think, especially in today's society where we kind of tend to walk past each other and not even say hello.
Yeah.
I think if more people even just thought about that, it's not just my child. There's a lot of children, younger, older, people's mothers, fathers, and they're just as desperate for people to maybe step up. Be like, she's right. You're not using it anymore. Why wouldn't you save someone's life?
If I can, like I said, if I don't see the day that I see a transplant, close my eyes, don't wake up, then they can have whatever. I'm going to be a donor and I'll be a believer in the donor program until the day I don't wake up. So I think it's imperative to be one. I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to be. You're saving somebody else's life. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much.